Look really nice. Cool. Hi, good evening. Welcome to another in the series of sketches of my life. Today's vlog is entitled Shelly. Now, in a lot of my vlogs to come, you'll hear this name mentioned, and I don't really want you to be wondering who is Shelly. So I decided that I would dedicate today to her memory. When I was 17 and was attending Judy's School of Fashion in Linstead, there was a young lady that attended the school also, whose name was Shelly and Garrick. How we first started talking is that one evening she approached me and said that a woman was planning to beat me for her gentleman, which was the man who I spoke about in the vlog before. That time they never do any yet, but he was showing an interest in me, and sometimes would approach me. So I guess maybe word got around to her. I'm not sure, because to date we have never met with each other, and anything that Shelly said would have happened never happened. So along the way, I realized that it was all a lie anyway. Maybe it was just a conversation starter to get to know me and all of that. So we fast became friends because she was street smart, I wasn't. And she said that she would defend me and be my defender. So from that day forward, we were friends, and that friendship materialized into a friendship of over 20, almost 20 years. Yeah, friendship of almost 20 years until she passed. I must say that in all my years, no matter how many persons I've been acquainted with, and even in school, you might say this person is a friend or that person is a friend, but she was my only true friend. She is the only, even until now, I still have not labeled anyone else to be my friend. She was the one who, being around her, my mother would gradually allow me to go places, including Grand Market, Coney Park. Even my first dance, it was Shelly who let me go. And I remember Coney Park. She came up and she asked my mother if I could go. My mother said no at first, but then afterwards, when she heard that, it was okay with Miss Joy, that's Shelly's mother, she said all right. And the plan was that we would sleep at Shelly's home that night when we came back home. So we stopped by Miss Joy, and Shelly took out sheet and hid it in Mr. Franco's car, because the plan was, she knew her mother, and I guess she knew that her mother would do certain things or not do certain things. So we went to Pony Park with a ferry, and we enjoyed ourselves, and we came back. And when we came back and reached Shelly's mom's house, we go in the yard, try the door then locked, try the car doors, all the doors then locked. So the plan for sleep in the car didn't work out. So me, Shelly, Carla, Katie, and I forgot what the guy name, remember her name was there. Brian, yeah. All five of us, we sat across this little road that was to the front of the house and the shop, because her mom had a bar too. Down that street, I remember what street name, in Yorton. And we sat out there and we started to sing. Shelly took up some pebbles and she threw them on the house top one. And we make noise and we sing It Soon Be Done When Trouble's on Trial. And we, find some little songs and sing for show word we say, well, we out, we get locked out. It was close to daylight by this, so we out there, we make up our mind, so we'll stay till daylight, and everybody just sit out there, have a nice time. We talk all sort of story and go on with our antics. Not knowing Miss Joy not asleep. You see, like, just as day I go light now, and the morning now, you see Miss Joy open the door and say, it's soon be done now, it's soon be done now, and we got to go in. Of course, by the time we're going, we can't sleep again, because daylight, so just fresh up myself, and I headed home by the time, the hours decent and all of that. And Shelly, I say, Mama, you see, if first time a friend comes to me yard, you make she sleep a road and she not used to that. Anyway, that was a memory where we always have and always laughed about over the years. And then as time go by, all our little ups and downs, we go through all sorts of little things. There were times when she was living in Prairie, I would go down and visit. There was another time my mother did put me out and I go down there and stay. And there was another time when I was seeking place to rent, and in between seeking that place to rent, I went and stayed with her and her boyfriend, then baby father at the time, till get my place. Then over the years, we got through with ups and downs. I came to Retreat to live, and she was, years later, I came to the Retreat to live, and she was still living in Yorton but working in a bar in Ocherius, and she would travel. And she called me one day and said, Suzette, so last night man nearly take me away. When I go home like they want to take me away. And the apartment building that I was on, they had more apartments than I told her. And that was how she came to St. Mary to live also. And we lived there till I had my daughter. She had hers. We both were pregnant at the same time, because my daughter is actually 5 weeks older than her daughter. That friendship was just something else. And then being in St. Mary, she had friends down here that she made. Well, her type of friends weren't really my type of friends. So, the closeness that we had, it kind of drifted a bit. But that sisterhood that we had, it was just awesome. It doesn't matter, you on the outside looking in, don't worry, think that we weren't close, because we had this bond. It was like we were sisters. That bond is so thick that even a little before she came to live up in Retreat, and she met her daughter's father, and he made mention that he knew me, and immediately she called me and phoned me and asked me if he said that he knew me. And I said, yeah man, I'm a brethren. And she said, oh no, never, nothing yet, him never look him. I said, no, that's just my brethren. Know him from me there saying catching, he always stop out them and them boy, and me know him from them days there. And she said, oh, because if anything like that, she wouldn't cross the border. And that's how we were. We had that sisterhood wherein certain things we just not do. And we're going with antics together. We've been to a lot of places, a lot of stories, a lot of ups and downs, a lot of joys, sorrows. There are times when we vex, but even though we vex, don't come between us. And it was, that friendship is just something that every chance I get, I mention her name, I talk about her. She was actually 9 months younger than me, because she was born December 17, 1974. I was born in March of 74. And tell you the truth, I can't remember if it's 2009 or 10, because there's a blockage in my memory as to when she died, because it hurts so much and it hurts to talk about it, because it's like it's a death that I just can't get over. No matter how much I try, I just can't get over a death. And I don't know, maybe that's why I don't even really try to make any new friends or something, because it just hurt. Um, she drank and smoked from she was in her teens, and she was told to stop drinking and smoking, I'm told. And she suddenly had to be walking with pump. I've always been an asthmatic, but she developed this breathing problem that she had to be walking with pump and all of that. And she was told to stop with the smoking and all of that. And she paused for a while and then she started. She gambled a lot too. So one night she was coming from gambling, and there's a flight of steps in retreat that instead of going around the road, most of us would walk up those steps to come up the hill. And I just know that I got a call in the morning asking if I heard what happened, and I said no. And I was told that she just passed out on the steps and died. Um, Apparently that night she was smoking and drinking, plus inhaling other people's smoke, and she just never made it. Um, Even her funeral, it was on a Sabbath. I don't go to funerals on Sabbath, and that day I went to church and I just couldn't function, and I left church and went out into the little square of our district, and I saw the bus. They never made preparation for me because I never made plans with them. And when I went, the persons were saying that they had to make space for me because this was her sister, her best friend. And I remember I went to the funeral, and when I went to the church, the hearse wasn't there as yet, and I saw Miss Joy and we were there talking. Because even for the eulogy and stuff, I was the one who gave all the information and stuff so that they could put together the eulogy to show you how close we were. And when I saw the hearse coming, it was like my whole body just tore apart, and broke down then. And then for the entire funeral, I can't remember going to a funeral wherein this happened. I mean, with my grandfather, I did feel it, and I still feel it, but with Shelly, it's just different. Even with my twins, I felt it for years, I still feel it, but with Shelly, it's a different, I don't know, it's just a different kind of hurt. And sat there in the church, and she was in a glass casket, and the tears just wouldn't stop flowing. Even to this day, it's like I can't stop them from flowing when I think of her or speak of her. And I went and I got some rose. I know she did, but I remember I passed this yard up on the hill in Yorton, close to where the church was for the funeral. And I remember I saw some orange rose, and I know that her favorite color is orange, and she loved orange. She loved roses too. And I went over to the yard, I didn't know the people, and I begged them, I said, please, 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 it's my friend's funeral, and she loved orange and she loved roses. Can you please, if it's even one stem, I'm begging you. And the man over there, he cut off quite a few and he gave to me. I saw the Dr. Bird, that's my yard. And I brought it up and I rested it on the casket. And then they brought her down to the cemetery at Yorton. And life sure is funny because see where Shelly love road. I see where so she got buried at the roadside. Um, at first when I passed, I could always see where her grave was, but then as time progressed and other graves were placed in front, you can't really see it. Because I remember I went to a funeral after, and I had to really search for where the grave was because it's not marked nor anything. It's like, you know, no one has gone back to clean it up, paint it, or even label it. And the day when she was placed down in that hole, it was heartrending, I must say. And you know, normally after they cover up the body, people stop crying. But for me, I don't know. I don't know when I'll stop crying because I was never blessed with a sister. But to me, Shelly was a sister that I never had by birth. And we shared a lot of things together. And I don't know. I'll just never forget her. My greatest regret though is that she never came to know Christ. You know, sometimes I would invite her to church or something, and she would say she would come one day and stuff, but I can't say that she ever came or anything like that. I don't know what her last thought was. I don't know if she made amends, yes or no. I hope she did. So yeah, that's about Shelly and Garrick. Died in her early 30s. Left behind two children, Nakeen Williams and Dana Shea Davidson Long. And I must say again, I really do miss her. Thanks for listening and watching. See you next week.